Yeah, we are back on the podcast with the twin sisters, Nakato and Babirye. We have Nakato, who will then introduce herself to you people briefly.
Okay. So, thanks for having me. My name is Cynthia Nakato. I'm an entrepreneur and who is on a mission to prove that chocolate is more important than diamonds. Well, at least for now. Having tried to conquer in healthcare a few years back, and failed. And now my heart and taste buds are set on conquering chocolate and establishing a chocolate empire with my twin sister. Yes. When I think about our business pivot from healthcare to Chocolate Truffles, do I think of it as a...
So you went from healing people to killing them.
No, not really. When I think about our business pivot, do I think of it as a strategic move or a full-on sugar rush? Well, I would honestly say a bit of both. Yeah. Let's just say that we learned a lot in healthcare, and really we feel like the world could use a little bit of more joy, and that's how Chocolate Truffles come in. We are talking about a combination of unique flavors, ethically sourced cocoa, and enough indulgence to make you forget about adulting for a while.
Interesting.
Yep.
I have suffered with very many addictions. I feel like also the sugar thing is also there with the chocolate. At some point in my life, I was working with Hillary Bamlinde with Gom chocolate butter. So I was trying to do some sales. He owns, I think, a chocolate company where they do cocoa chops. Yeah. But he also really plants the cocoa. Okay, he's one of the planters, but gets it from somewhere in Western Uganda.
That's to remember. Bodibujo. Yeah. Bodibujo, because that's where most of the...
Yeah, somewhere that side. Yeah. So, yeah. In that time, though, I was eating a lot of chocolate.
Okay.
So, I feel like that is when my sugar addiction kicked in. So I've been trying to fight that up to today. So occasionally I don't have sugar at my home, but when this guy comes around, then I have to buy sugar. Then again, I go back into a relapse. Okay. Like that.
Yeah, but that shit don't stop you from having chocolate, because you also there's dark chocolate, which also...
But then it's too sour. Whenever I really taste dark chocolate, it's... What would be the point? Why would I eat?
No, but you also have the option of we have the option, because we are working on healthy benefits as well, because we also want to give our customer a healthy...
What would be the healthy
option? Also, for dark chocolate, for example, if you don't want it so sour, we can always add to it what we call a stevia. Stevia is a sweetener, but like the healthy type. Yeah, so we can always do that. But we aim to cater for all users, and consider the health benefits as well for people who feel like so much sweet is affecting their health, because chocolate as well has its own healthy benefits. It's a very good antioxidant. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So we aim to, right now we are still small, so we are mainly focused on serving our clientele who are mostly interested in sweet chocolate, of course. Yeah, most of our clients really love sweet chocolate and white chocolate, brown chocolate. Yeah. For the dark chocolate, those ones are a few, a minority, but for the future goal is to also be able to cater to those as well. And you might not like dark chocolate because it's really sour, but there are some people who really prefer dark chocolate.
Yeah, there are people who eat sour, but I don't come on that.
Yes.
Now, as before you stepped in, we were having a conversation with your sister here.
Okay.
And I'd asked her how it is like to work as sisters. So she was telling me, of course, there are challenges like anywhere else. I was trying to tell her that I also happen to work with my relatives and I don't find challenges with that. In fact, for me, I would rather do that than to work for some other person. I would rather make my family rich than to work for anyone else anyway.
Yeah. So actually, working with my sister has its advantages, because let's just say all of us bring different perspectives, and usually when you miss out on something, then she can come with a solution.
You feel like the fact that you are twins puts you in a position where you almost think alike?
Exactly.
Yes, we do almost think alike, but not all the time. Sometimes really, because even if we are twins, the thing is we've gone through different work experiences and we've experienced lives in different ways. For example, my sister worked in the bank. So she's like more knowledgeable about the banking and finances. I did work in customer service and marketing, so I'm more knowledgeable about those things. So I think that even if we are twins, our experiences make us a bit like distinct and unique. So we might see things differently. So that's really a plus because when we combine our brains together, we get more things done as compared to someone who's working alone.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll start with you, then go to Babirye. What is your philosophy in life?
My philosophy.
Yeah, what is like your mantra? What is, yeah. You can first check your notes even though and
Oh my God. My philosophy in life, that's like really deep,
Yeah.
A deep question. Well, let's just say I don't really.
have a philosophy in life.
No, I have a philosophy in life, but not like. I just can't give like a general thing about life because life has like different things, different aspects that like make it life. Yeah, but all I think like, I think one of the most important things is just like to just be yourself, enjoy discovering enjoy like making a better, like just focus on making and becoming a better version of yourself so that when you're a better version of yourself, always aim to, so that you always add value to whoever you interact with. Probably it might be like in a business perspective or a social perspective or a family perspective, just always aim to be the best version of
So the reason I ask is because you're running a business, right?
Yes.
So from what your philosopher is, it is what defines what type of problem maybe you're trying to solve.
Okay.
But it looks like you're just creating another problem with getting as more addict as possible with sugar. But I'm here to listen to you.
No,
Understand.
no, we are not trying to create more problems, really.
Do you know why I disagree?
Mhm.
Because honestly, all my life, I have loved chocolate. I love chocolate. During the festive season, I'm the kind of person who's going to eat chocolate throughout the whole month of December. And not that dark chocolate, the white chocolate. But then I know like if you know how to regulate your
It's what they call functional addiction, right?
No, if you know how to regulate your cravings, I know how to regulate my cravings. I'm like, now this is a season I'm going to really eat chocolate. Then there'll be another period of time. I can go for 6 months without tasting chocolate and doing how it tastes like I'm off sugar. But when that time comes to indulge, like to be,
So do you feel like
yes,
we had like a chocolate problem where maybe what we were eating was not fine, or is it an issue with the farmers? Do you feel like what you're trying to do is to just give back to the farmers? Like, I'm trying to really get into
why we what we're making
what problem
chocolate.
you're trying to solve. Usually that is what defines the success of
I would not associate chocolate with problems. All I would say, I would associate it with like benefits that it adds to people. Because for me personally, what I would think is, like I said in my introduction, like really the world could use more joy. And I feel like when people eat chocolate, it makes them feel nice. When, like, for example, you need to give someone a gift, you might buy a small box or a really packaged box of chocolate and you give it to someone and they'll be happy. So it's not just, you don't just have to associate it with problems and negativity. It's just something that's like positive. So you think of it in a positive light. Yes, instead of a negative light. Yes. As for, like she said, you also have like, you as a person, you have to be responsible. You have to regulate what you eat because of course you have the freedom to eat whatever you want, but you also have like to have that self-control. It's just like drinking alcohol. Drink alcohol, if you're taking it in moderation, it cannot be bad. But if like you go over the excess and then you become an alcoholic, then it's you who's creating the problem, not the manufacturers of the product, but it's you, the person who is.
you must have self-discipline when it comes to addictions.
Yes.
It starts from you. You have to be disciplined. You as a person, yes, you must know like this is good for you, this is not good for me. Because I know how to regulate myself, but then also like if I'm going to stay off alcohol, I'm not even a heavy drinker. But if I decide a few months, like let me say I'm going to be on a cleanse of alcohol or any addiction for that matter, be it sex, like I'll be off it because it's a personal choice that I have to make every day. So everyone has a personal choice to make every day to be disciplined to safeguard themselves against those vices. Yeah.
So what is your philosophy, Babirye?
Honestly, for me, my philosophy is balance and resilience. Yeah, as a mother, as an entrepreneur, and as I wouldn't call myself a wife because I separated with my husband, but I'll say
You're
like
divorced.
I'm not divorced. We are separated.
We?
No,
Separate.
she's separated.
Yeah.
Me, I've never been married.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's important to maintain balance, learn from your failures, and then evolve in every aspect of your life. Yeah, so I'll maintain the balance between being an entrepreneur, a mother, and also like as a partner in future because I don't aspire to be single for life. Like yeah, but then that's the mantra. You have to balance it all out and then keep on moving, resilient, and then keep on evolving in each and every aspect. Because as human beings, we evolve. We are supposed to evolve in nature, not stay stagnant or static in one place.
Right, interesting. So speaking of you not being single for life, today early in the morning, as I was going through as with a team, so once I was sending them a profile on who is coming onto the podcast, my good man Crescent was doing a quick review into all your tweets to like really come up with some sense of direction
Okay.
to give me a brief on what I should read about and what I should be ready about on the podcast. He picked a rather interesting tweet where you say the pool of men right now is so bad, and that is what is keeping you celibate and away from sex. Yeah, care to first expound on that? Do you feel like we're in a generation where the men are so bad that you can't get along with them?
The men are not bad.
I don't think
Less
it's
for correction. Maybe she just used the wrong word. The men are not bad.
Yes, I was speaking in reference to the fact that I'm male. I mean, I'm female and like I'm straight, so I'm not queer. So I was speaking in reference because someone was saying, "Why don't you want to have sex?" So I was, me, if I'm to have sex, I'm going to have sex with her.
A man.
Yeah, because I'm straight. I'm a straight as they come. So I was speaking in reference to that. But in general, the world is a very dangerous place to find love. So I wouldn't say it's only men. So
Okay, that's being so negative.
no, but it's a dangerous place to find love because
No, it's not a dangerous place if you know
right
what you
now,
want.
yeah,
I agree. I agree.
yeah, you know, yeah, you can know what you want, but then people can come with ulterior motives, so you can never know. Like, for
But you
example-
have to be smart enough to read people.
Yeah,
and
but
you know what
it's not-
exactly
yeah,
what they want, and people will show
But
you
that
what
is
they.
in-
But
Yeah,
people will show you who they are through their actions. You don't listen to what people think.
No, it's
People
not
can-
You judge people.
No.
You judge people
No,
based on what they tell you. Me, I judge people based on actions. Because someone will come and tell you all the sweetest things,
For sure.
all the sweetest things in the world. Like, oh my
but
god,
then also like someone initially will come and they'll be the best version of themselves, and then like you fall in love with them, and then like that process of detachment, you're not going to just wake up one day and be like, I'm done with this person. Like for me, it was a whole process, like being married and being with this person, and also I believe in this it's called balance also, but I also believe in like being the best out of people, giving people a chance, like giving people benefit of doubt. Me, I'm the kind of person who believes in that. So like if I'm in love with someone, only if I'm in a relationship with someone, I would want to see it through and I would want to give those people a chance. Sadly, sometimes does it backfire on you? Yes, it definitely does backfire on you. But I believe like, yeah, the world is a very dangerous place to find out because people are not who they seem to like, to who they are. Sometimes they're not who they really is.
you see,
Yeah, but specifically your tweet highlights the pool of men currently.
Yeah, the pull up been
Yeah. And,
okay.
and
Like right now, I'll give you.
there's very many factors I am insisting on that, right?
Like,
It could
yeah.
be because maybe society is focusing so much on the girl child
Yeah.
and forgetting the boy child.
But-
So do you feel like that's the issue?
No,
Or-
but then there are also other aspects to it. Like, for example, right now, I don't know, because people have been raised on survival, like people don't know the meaning of like a companionship, like giving love and reciprocating it. I think most people don't have that. Because with most people you're going to find right now these days, like for the most men that have gotten to like go out on dates with, like you find like initially someone will come to you because they just want to have sex, but they're not going to be emotionally available, like be attentive to your needs, like the needs that you really want as a woman. Like they're not going to be like as affection. Like when you're with a person.
But you see, whenever women raise these issues, it beats my understanding, right? The needs you need as a woman, why should they exclude sex?
They shouldn't exclude sex.
Because the needs I need as a man include sex.
No, they should not exclude sex. And I beg to be and I stand to like you to correct you. Like sex is a wonderful thing, and I don't object having sex. Sex is beautiful, like, and when you have it in the confines of like a good, healthy relationship, it's really beautiful. But then I'm not going to go out and have sex with someone because they're available, but they're not going to be attentive to my needs. Because if like I'm sad and I need to talk to someone and they're not available, so they're only going to be available when it suits them because they want to have sex. What about me when I need them? When I need someone to just talk to, or to hold my hand, or to just have with, or to just like hang out with.
Wait, can I
Yeah.
interrupt you for a bit?
Please.
Because why are you giving your time to someone who's not going to be there for you? That's really the question.
Yeah.
The thing is, when guys initially come to you, they are all loving and they're all caring and they're
Do
all
you-
those things.
Do you feel like you live more in the past and in the future than in the
No,
present?
I don't. I would like to live in the present. That's why I say, like for me, I said if the pool of men right now is not like very, very attractive for me, then I'd rather abstain. And then that's why I say I'd rather abstain. So I'm not going to go to everyone, or I'm not going to go around having sex with everyone just because they're available. That's why, specifically my tweet. That's why I said.
So, do you feel like your values are molded from like a Christian upbringing?
Christian conservative, yes, but the truth is I'm a bit conservative when it comes to my dating life and dating experience.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I'd like to be with someone. Monogamy is very important to me, which is very rare to find these days because it's very hard to find someone who's going to be loyal to you and faithful to you. They'll be faithful, like they'll be with you, and then the next day they'll be with some other person, and that's just the truth of our society is right now. That's the current status quo. People are always jumping left, right, center. It's
But you
very
are part of the society. Don't you feel like
Yes, I'm part of the society, and that's why I'm saying, like, for me to add myself into those,
Into the equation.
I'd rather remove myself from such equations. You know, like if I know someone's going to be, they're being promiscuous, then I'd rather like,
so?
yeah,
When you live like that, right? And that is you living in the ethos of life. Of okay, people are promiscuous. That is a given. But the fact that people are promiscuous, can that stop you from pursuing something beautiful?
no, definitely no. That's why I said I'm open to giving people a chance, and like I'm that kind of person who will give people a chance. And I think that's what Cynthia was. She was telling me that you don't have to, because for her, she's really it's an open book. It's either black or it's white.
So, Cynthia, for you, what are your values and what informs your perspective on like?
My values, okay.
Going into it's either black or white.
Okay, going into like, okay, of course, when you meet someone, you need to. Okay, personally, for me, as Cynthia, I speak for myself. I would like to, by the time I decide to settle down, I would like to be with someone who shares the same vision as me for a long-term commitment, and we should also have the same values as well.
What values?
Financial goals, on respect, mutual respect,
Mm-hmm.
honesty, loyalty, faithfulness. Yes. So when I meet someone, of course, when you meet someone, like, yes, they can present themselves, the best version of themselves, but after some time, you're not blind. Of course, they will give you some signs that they're not really who they seem to be. So it's up to you to either see them for who they really are, or have like some illusions in your mind of what they really are, or what you want them to be. So for me, usually, I see people for who they really are. And if I feel like something is not working the way I want it, I just remove myself from the equation. I can't continue pursuing something that's like going to lead to a place that will not make me happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But then my issue with that is then for a long term relationship that is not like realistic or sustainable, because I believe people make mistakes. Like error is too human. Like you're supposed to give people a chance. That's what I believe in. Like
Yes,
that is why you see
that doesn't mean that
for
I don't
lasting
give people
marriages.
chances.
Please don't.
No,
But how would you know about lasting marriages if you've not?
No, I've
if
had
you've
a chance to
broken out of
experience. Yes, I've broken out of one,
Yeah.
but just that wasn't up to me, because you can't be. Someone doesn't want to be with you anymore. I believe if someone makes up their minds and they walk out, you're not going to cling on to them. You're going to let them go. But I've seen my sister. My sister's been married for close to 17 years right now.
Our older sister.
My older sister.
Sister.
Yeah, and I know how imperfect their marriage has been, and I know how much all of them had to I know how much she had to put up with. So I'm like, that's the kind of life we're living. But in the meantime, if you have the option of like being celibate, why don't take it? Because when you walk into relationships, you're walking into a bunch of challenges.
So unlike women, right?
Yeah.
For you as a woman, you have a clicking clock
yes.
for
Yes.
when you can have certain privileges. Unlike for a man, where it's really just a financial wallet that can stop you.
Not for all men.
For most of the men, really.
Okay, maybe like, okay, biologically you're not limited, but
Yeah.
there's some men who have a mindset whereby they want to have kids at a certain age. Because of course, like there's some men who are like, even if they don't have a biological clock, they don't want to be 40 when they don't have kids.
Yes. You don't want to be 50 and you're driving kids.
Yeah.
Take care.
Nakato, do you have children?
No, I don't have children.
What's your perspective on children?
If I meet a partner who compliments me, yes, I would love to have children. Otherwise, I'm open on to having them as well. Yeah. That's
For eternity?
yes.
Why is that?
Why is that?
You don't want
I don't
other use to continue?
want my what?
Other people, like, you don't want like your lineage to like continue?
No, it's not that I don't want that lineage to continue.
But you're not bringing children into this world. You're supposed to have a supportive one.
Okay, I just like if I meet like a partner who compliments me
Yes.
in a graceful way,
Yes.
whereby it will be like healthy to
Yeah.
have kids and bring kids into this world
Yes.
in a
It's good,
healthy
yeah, it's good.
family,
Yes. Yes.
marital
In a
bond.
family unit.
Yes, I would have them. Otherwise, I would not want like
Yes.
to have kids in an unhealthy, toxic environment or in a relationship. Yes,
Okay,
it just doesn't make sense. Maybe some people might think that I'm a little bit extreme when it comes
those things.
when it comes to that. But yes, because when
Why do those people think you're extreme?
because
What is it in you that makes them feel that way?
yeah, because most people like basically essentially they think that you should have kids, and of course yes, it's okay to have kids if you can give them a life that they can be proud of. When they look back on how they grew up, they can say, yes, I'm proud that my mom gave birth to me and the life that they gave me. I don't want to have kids and then like when they grow up, they're like, oh my god, why did she even give birth to me? This whole life has been like a whole struggle. I've been suffering. Oh no, I don't want that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
For you, you already have children,
Yes.
but then out of the marriage.
No, we're married and separated. But ideally, yeah.
Why don't you like to use the word divorce?
You're not yet divorced.
Because they're not divorced. They're just living separately.
Separate, like,
Because
yeah,
if it's
So there's like a 50% chance.
of getting back together,
Probability.
No.
no. At least for now, no. Maybe if something changed in the future, but for now, no.
They reconcile.
It is very interesting that your sister really answers some of your person.
No, but no, I think, of course, she knows most of my story.
Yeah,
like,
I know, and I also
this thing,
know
like-
the ex-husband. I know who he is. I know how it was, and really also, I would not like even be encouraging her to go back into such a marriage.
yes.
Not that I'm against marriages. Or for
Just that
marriages.
typical one.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no chance of that. But like in the legal sense, you're supposed to be like specific. If you're separated, there's separation, just separation. There's legally separated. Then
That's
there's divorce.
Wait.
Yeah, you can be legally separated when you're not divorced. Yeah. So
Yeah. So
How does
that
that
means
work?
you means you can't get married again. If you're just separated, you can't get married again because you're still married.
Married again.
It's illegal to get married again.
Yeah.
So you can only get married again when you totally
And when you're separated?
legally separated, still you're still married. But the whole instance, I think, of being legally separated is like it sets down like the conditions of your separation, like then also when it comes down to like children, like shared custody, and it sets down like the pros and the cons and everything. Like it stipulates everything that's surrounding your marriage. Like if you want a restraining order against someone, you can be legally separated and be like, I don't want this person in certain kilometers of me, stuff like that. Yeah. But then being divorced is like that's dissolving the whole entire marriage in all its entirety. You're like done with this person and there's nothing like tying you two together
apart from kids.
and then the court can decide like you can have shared custody or like this person can have full custody of the kids. So
Interesting. I think I've learned that from here.
yeah.
So anyway, moving on again, back to my people. So your timeline was still, there's all this activism going on. So I'd earlier asked you what brings about that passion. So maybe I want to hear from your sister on the same. Yeah.
What brings about that passion?
The passion for the love to speak out on what's happening.
just-
And do you feel like there's some impact there?
For the Ugandan, okay, right now at first, it does have an impact.
Mm.
But
What did you, the Ugandan what? You wanted to speak on something. Please speak on that. The exhibition?
No, I
Mm.
want to speak on Ugandan politics in general.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, okay. My thoughts on Ugandan politics in general Ugandan politics can be like navigating, let's say, a matoke market on a rainy day. It's like exciting, but also undeniably chaotic.
Mm.
Yes. Well,
How is it exciting?
I mean, Yes, because people can be excited. Like, for example, when the exhibition came out of corruption,
Yeah.
the exhibition came out, the corruption scandal exhibition. People, of course, were excited. They were thinking, like, yes, now we're all geared up. You're going to see some real change happening.
I don't think people were. I mean, we've seen a lot of activism happening from the times of Chiza Besigye. We've had actual people going on the street.
That time I was not like following things, but this time I was online. And online, the fact is,
So let's backtrack a little bit. What brings about your passions to then get interested in Ugandan politics before you tell me your perspective on Ugandan politics? Is this a Bobi Wine effect? Should we?
yeah, well,
Okay.
we could say that it is, because I remember at that time.
Mm.
Okay, initially I wasn't even following politics before, but that time, like, I started like following a little bit, but not really like so much. I was not in the country then, and then I had some friend. He was Ghanaian, and he was like, "Hey, by the way, you guys, I saw there was a fight in your parliament." I'm like, "Really? Which
Yeah.
fight?" And he was like, "Hey, you whole singer Bobo Wine was fighting in the parliament." I'm like, "Regarding what?" And then he's like, he didn't give me the details, but I went and searched about it. So I saw what he was like, what? Fighting for. And then I was initially like interested, because it was like what he was fighting for was actually right.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's like that was
What was he fighting for then?
the fight,
Okay.
the major fight. I think you know that
Yeah.
fight.
It was about
the removing the age
Yeah,
limit.
that was-
Age limit?
Yes.
Where they stood up on chairs.
Okay. That was the age limit.
Yes. Okay, before you
Okay, yeah. Tujiko.
Yeah, Tribalism. Okay, why it was exciting for me was it's like I had never seen a fight in our parliament. Really, I've never seen it before. That was my first time to see it. Because yes, every day,
And it felt like now people are really
serious.
invested in the issues that.
Yeah, because before people would go like on the streets, walk to work, all those things to me they didn't move me, and I was in the country then. I never participated in any of those things, and I never used to care.
Yeah.
But during that fight, I was like, yes, this is some serious thing that is happening. Yeah, so I came back after a few months, and when I came back, that was the time when Bobi Wine was arrested. Yeah, and people were demanding for his release. Yeah, so that's when I really got really interested to politics. Yeah.
So what's your perspective since that time you really get interested? What have you found? What can you share? Where do you stand on your beliefs?
Well, I can say right now, currently, I'm not cheering for. No, I wouldn't say I'm non-partisan. But right now, I'm not really like 100% cheering for any political group. Yeah.
Okay, cheering is one thing, but like opinion on it all. I've seen you being vocal about the situation. What's your take on the politics of things?
Yeah. No, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, of course, right now my take is with the current environment, the political space in Uganda is not very healthy, and it's also not very attractive. Yes, because of course I don't expect politicians or political parties to be perfect and just sweep in and solve all the problems at once, but I believe that they can make a difference. And how they can make a difference is, I feel like some, when they come in initially in the political space, some actually want to make a difference. But when they enter the political space, I think they lose focus. I would say losing focus. So when they get the attention and they're swept up in endless meetings with donors and funders, so suddenly it's not anymore about community empowerment. It's just about let's just some bank accounts get a little bit more healthier. You get the point? Yeah. So what
I feel like that's a really rot from like the political system from the head. So even if someone like back to what my leader Bobi Wine was saying just recently on his timeline, he said even if the ideas were strong, even if we had the best of policies, when we still have the same president, it all comes down to nothing, right? When the father of the home.
So, for example, if you tell me like a political party or a political activist group managed to get funding for, let's say, $1 million US, how much do you think that could do?
What do you want the funding to do?
For example, if they really talk about bringing change, they could set up like community workshops.
Let me just take you see the way the politics of things works. You see the road that drives to the studio.
Yes.
I probably have enough money to make sure it has no potholes for my guests to come on the podcast, but I simply just can't do that. Do you get that? I can't do that because I have enough money to do it.
Yes.
So at the off chance that the opposition does not have power, because then the law does not allow me to do the road.
Yeah, but I'm not saying about road. I'm not talking about the road. I'm talking about things like like I said computer workshops. Did you hear that? Computer workshops, you teach people how to use computers in those areas where they don't know how to use them, because technology is a very important tool for communication right now.
But how are you? So in that area, again, I feel like that's a bit surface, right? But listen to my explanation. In an area where there's where the guy doesn't know how to use a computer, there's a bigger chance there's no power, right? There's a bigger chance.
But if you have funding of $1 million USD, don't you think? No, you cannot extend power. You can create a small project. And I remember Babi was doing that. She studied some knitting in.
I'm so sure she's probably still doing that.
Well, I don't hear about it anymore, so I'm not so sure. So something like that, really, if all those people get money and they set up things like that, that empower people, don't you think that would be like a more practical political space?
Because they do get funds anyway. They do.
Yeah, because if someone gets, they want to hold other people accountable, but for them, when they get the money, suddenly it's all about like lining their own pockets and like, and then they don't caring about.
They take a step back, break, and then and focus on other things.
Yeah, so that's what
I'm
saying.
But
because like for the Ugandan,
please don't make excuses. I know
for the Ugandan environment right now, I feel like the biggest challenge right now, if you're being honest, it's the citizens themselves. People are not empowered, people are not informed, and that's why anyone who wants to make a change will start with a civic education program to empower and then educate the masses.
A civic education program. It's not like just going around. Like, you can go around and tell people about corruption and how bad it is, but what tools have you given them to fight corruption? Because, for example, if someone is so poor and the only thing they think about is working and getting money to feed themselves, when is this person going to come up and start protesting and going on the streets?
What would be a solution?
The funny thing is, like, most of us, when you go down into abject poverty areas, they don't even need a lot. Because at the time when we're doing a charity works in some women around another place. I'm forgetting the name of the place. It's not so far away from town. Around in towards our Kiso. Then we went to some women, like most of them are single mothers or most of them are young mothers. And you know, they're like, even if I get like 100K, I can start up a stall of tomatoes and maybe I can like
Yeah, but that is impulsive thinking, right? Like definitely once in a while you can throw 100K at them and
for you it may be like nothing, but for them it can like sustain them.
It definitely can't, because I'm sure
yes, I know it can't, but I'm telling you, if someone has got funding, because for example me, if I got $1 million USD in funding, I would do something that makes a difference to the people in my community. Right now,
make it my life's goal.
Right now, I do crochet, and I've participated in teaching women how to crochet. If, for example, I got that money, at least I'll get a set up like community engagement units that would teach women how to crochet and make beautiful items that they could sell to make money out of themselves. And if I had the funding, I'm sure that I would even be able to get the market internationally, whereby those products can be sold and those women are empowered. That's what I would do.
So I'll fill you into programs from the Uganda, right? I happen to be very attached to my kingdom, so the Uganda has for just in culture over time taught women how to crochet, how to make mats, how to make home living things, right? But that is not life changing to most of them. So the women deep down in the villages, it's not like they lack the skills to crochet.
Yeah, they don't like the skills to shape, but it's supposed to be designed as a sustainable program, long-lasting, to have an impact. You get? So you can't just
design it as a sustainable, long-lasting.
Because if you just teach someone how to crochet, yes, they'll be able to crochet. But if like they don't have like the material that's needed for them, or if you don't set up like, maybe you can set up a workshop, not just a workshop, but then it becomes also a factory whereby those women are going to be employed and be knitting, making those products, and they are transported to the market. So it's a continuous process. It doesn't just end at teaching them, because if you just teach them, buying crochet is expensive, by the way. Don't expect like women to just begin like set up their own business. Set up their own business and try to produce it at large scale.
So, but at large scale, what type of value would you, as a crochet business maker, add to the country? Because then at large scale, you're going to face competition from Louis Vuitton, from who's the guy who makes my t-shirts? Quite expensive, by the way. I think I made by.
But those are.
Yeah, but this is the market you're going to really be competing with.
Well, do you know markets in Europe, they're so obsessed with handcrafted garments.
Then
They'll
if they were
pay
really
you.
so obsessed, right, they would be Louis Vuitton would be making the same, because again, it has so much money
No,
to do that.
but that's not.
No, they
their
have their
niche.
focus. Like
They have
everyone has
yes.
their focus,
That's
really.
when they're
Yeah, but all I know that
expensive.
all I can tell you this, you can come up with all the excuses we want, but
Yes.
they say if someone is really committed to something and they really want to make a difference, they will. If
Find a
not, they
way.
won't. Of course.
So you're saying $1 million in the crochet business, if you had it, would make.
To be a starting point.
I'm not sold.
Yes, you're not sold because I don't think you know about crochet, and maybe you're not passionate so much about as I am. No, you don't. You don't make them.
St. Francis.
You don't make them.
Sweaters.
Was it like was it in Italy or like was the little market for crochet which overseas? There's a time I want. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, actually, no. I was talking to someone. Actually, this person is
So
British.
here's what you guys have done, right? You guys have faulted the opposition.
No, we are
what is
not.
it supposed to
No,
be?
we are not faulting them. Please don't. We are not faulting them, but we just feel like they could do so much more. Like they could add so much more. You get with the influence and the funding that they get.
and the exposure that
Yes.
So let's look at what they have done first, right?
Yes.
They have helped with sensitizing school. They're fighting policies. Just the fight that really brought your passion into politics of it all was them fighting about some age limit, right?
Yes.
So at the core of it all, that looks like the greater good for improvement of our countries. If we
Yes.
have really functioning policies, if we have institutions that are executing what they should really be executing, and that we have people being held accountable for misuse of public funds, and this is what the opposition is crying out for, right?
Yes.
And it is also saying everything else might look fancy, just like your crochet idea, where I'll genuinely tell you, if it was as fancy as you have it in your head, Louis Vuitton would be doing it here, because no one misses out on
Okay,
that.
but no. Okay, I know like you're trying to water down on our idea.
I'm not watering down your idea. I want
nice thing. Yes, you're being mean right now.
I
You're
am
being
not.
mean.
I am not.
You are being mean. Yeah,
So,
and that's
let
the
me give you an
kind of
example now of
mindset
this-
I
of
don't
this shit.
really like it, because usually
give you an
most
example.
people want to deal with limitations and they feel like they can't do more. They feel like they're already limited.
Now, realistically, right? So this studio, Uvotam, produces this podcast.
Okay.
The vision is to have as many conversations as we can, right? So I personally have conversations around Africa just on the same.
Okay.
So I can just go and have a conversation with someone just because I really, really want to get it's mentorship to me. And it also gives me as much knowledge to just really talk to people and understand their perspectives on life, just like I am trying to share with you my perspective on your idea, because that's how I feel like we want to scale out by having so many conversations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we cannot still be as big as Netflix right now.
Okay.
The chance we have is for Netflix to really just take our products on their platform because they've scaled out.
Okay.
So that is in the same light as I was trying to explain to you, that
Okay.
if the idea was as big,
Yes.
Netflix would, first of all, have already identified that would work
Okay.
already, right?
Okay.
Not because they have the resource to do that, but the only reason they're doing that because it's not as life-changing. It's fulfilling to me and my team and everyone else, but it's really not as life-changing, right?
No.
The grand scheme of it all for us is the breakthrough is through film. We will shoot films and we'll tell stories from Africa, and maybe that will put us out. So that is why I was, in my perspective, I was giving you where I think I come from. And it was not to water down the idea. No, I can't water down an idea I'm not really executing. So I don't know the COVID. But I'm telling you, since it's in the fashion, that cannot be the solution. For what? For the woman in the village. That is not what they're looking for.
Yeah.
They're looking for better policy. Right? And that is where the opposition is focusing. So the idea of this argument is for me to show
so
you
if
that
the opposition is looking for better policy, but right now they're not in power and they cannot establish those policies, what are they going to do about it? In the meantime, can they focus their energies as well on something else as they wait for that time when those policies can be put in place?
doing all that.
That is where I have an issue. You get it?
I think that being all
Better
that.
policies, they might Because even you see recently the Parliament exhibition, they wanted accountability. Did they get it?
No,
they didn't get
there
it.
was no accountability.
So what do? You keep asking someone for accountability, they're not going to give you. Or
No, because
you,
the solution is not working. I presented to you guys a tech solution, right?
yes,
From Kenneth. I shared it with you, I think.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, such a solution can work,
yes,
right? But it still involves the involvement of government. But your solution is a solution that doesn't involve the involvement of government. And you do not see how bad that is. It can't work. Like, if the government is not at ease, one, if your idea was, if you say you give it a shot, if I give you $1 million off this podcast, right?
Yes.
If I talk to a few people I know and be like, you know what? Now we need to invest $1 million into Nakato and Babirye
Yes.
idea. If one, it's catching and you have a bad government, the government is going to overlap it. That's automatically. So this is the reality of things.
But if it's not political, I don't think the
Yeah.
government will be interested in
Because now
focusing on
take your
something that's
crochet-
Everything that involves empowering people is political.
No, she's trying
So there's no the politics.
It doesn't have to be
because for example, men in Masindi how to crochet, and the government was
okay. Let's go away from crochet and look at our business.
Okay.
Chocolate truffles.
Chocolate
It's
truffles.
not like chocolate. Is chocolate?
Yeah.
Is it chocolate political?
No, it's not.
No.
When
Even
you
the crochets are not political.
when you use like when you start a chocolate business, don't you like employ Ugandans?
Yes, you're going to be.
Don't you contribute to that?
Supporting
Aren't you
farmers.
empowering them?
Yes,
Are you against the government?
No.
Why would the government be interrupting you?
Because you're making a lot of money and you're empowering people, and you are,
the
once
only
people
way-
are
I
empowered,
think
right?
in this government, I know government only comes to interrupt you if
You're political and you're against their interests.
So,
yes, that's what I believe.
Quote a popular old boy of mine. The business of politics. Politics is the business
Okay.
in this country
Okay.
at all levels, right?
Yes.
So you're not going to escape that.
Yes.
So it is just how you want to look at it.
Okay.
There is nothing you're going to do
Okay.
that involves empowering people,
Okay.
that involves giving people money.
Okay.
That is not political. Why? They'll have to pay taxes. They'll have to be, maybe they're trying to fund the government,
Yes.
or you have a chunk of employees. The more it becomes successful, the more people get employed, right?
Okay.
And those are numbers, right? Those are numbers that can go against the government if they are equally well empowered. So a government like ours focuses directly on making sure people are not empowered. This is why
Okay.
it has constantly kicked out civil education in schools
Okay.
and made sure people are poor. Once people are poor, they're not empowered. They become just beggars, like we see.
Actually, you make a good point.
So
yeah, you make a
there's
good
no
point.
way you can run business without the politics of it. That is the point. This is why the fight for opposition is not entirely to just... they could really create what you think they're not doing the jobs, but I believe they're doing that. I believe Smiley Dabobian had the same views with you. He's been a successful leader outside of politics, but it was not really enough. I believe Besige, who I've personally have to work with in the future, has done the same, and he has employed people, but that is not really enough if the policies are still under government
Yes.
surveillance, and
Yes.
they have to be...
Yes, that makes sense. He makes a good point, but still
Make a good
doesn't.
point,
But still, it doesn't stop you. Because I'm sure if you created at so many like community engagements, like community engagement activities going on that are not like directly associated with politics, I'm sure they would make a difference.
When you say they're not directly associated with
So the
politics,
thing is, like, I think you have to start somewhere, because when you say like everything is government
yeah,
influence, you're saying the opposition should just like be solely focused on bringing down the government as opposed to like being out there with the citizenry, like
yes. So
because you have to start somewhere.
opposition is supposed to keep the government accountable, right?
Yes.
It is either supposed to keep the government accountable or to overthrow that government to give the citizens a better. That is how ideally a democracy is supposed to work.
Okay.
The people opposing the government so that they're the better option by presenting exactly what they're presenting, their manifestos, their policies.
Okay, now let's just say that empowering people is a challenge, but also now that's a challenge that opposition has to make sure that it solves. Because if people are not empowered, then they will not be able to overthrow
How
the
do they solve
government.
it?
No, I don't know. They can brainstorm with it. They have funding, they have money, so they can come up with ideas on how to solve it. Because if people are not empowered, if people don't have money, there is no way they will remove the government. Because people who are so poor don't have time to remove
It's
government.
not all about money, it's not about, but it's all about knowledge as well. If people are not knowledgeable what's going on,
Yes.
like about the
But money facilitates.
Yeah, but so
Yes.
they can like for all the accountability and all the policies they want.
but then they
If
can use that
people are
money,
not
yes.
empowered, they will not remove
Yes.
the bad government that they
my
want to
point
do
is
away
like
with.
how the opposition can go around that is they can come up with so many different programs, civic education, civic empowerment for the masses, And in over time, people are going to pick up. People are going to be empowered. People are going to be knowledgeable, and in over time, there will be a revolution in Uganda, and eventually Uganda will evolve into a democracy that we all strive.
You as opposing people to the government, what are you doing to make sure people around you are empowered?
Yeah, we started a chocolate truffle business. We do crochet and we employ people.
But
we might not employ.
Personally, me, I speak up. I think.
Yeah, and you also speak up. Yes, it might not be big.
Like so many people get to see what you're talking about. Yes, and
it might not be like noticeable or like maybe tangible because my people might underlook it. But we all have to start somewhere. Because for me personally, I would not say I'm not doing anything because I've always been vocal. And when you speak, you never know someone who's going to read your message or hear your message, and they will be touched, and that message maybe will like change their mindset or their thinking. So you speak up as much as you can. You start businesses that can employ people, and that also that can give back to the people in the small way that we can, until we are in a better position to do more. But now we do the best that we can.
In 2026, if the ballot paper looked like it was last year, the last election, who would you vote for?
I'm leaning towards
for presidency.
For president. I'm leaning towards because he has I admire him for the strong stance he has taken against corruption. Yeah, and really, if you're going to be honest, corruption is like biggest problem we have here in Uganda.
Is it though? We've seen articles where corruption is one of even the president at some point has come out to say that he has no problem with people being corrupt if they're investing back into their country.
Yeah, but they're investing back how? Is it like equally distributed? They invest back in things that are of interest to them and that make them happy.
Yes.
They're not like equally
setting up a high rise.
So if someone like a MP from Bukadia gets money and builds some hospital in Bukadia, it's not only going to benefit the people in Bukadia, it's not going to benefit the whole of Uganda. Resources should be equally distributed in the whole country, and that's how you bring about equality and peaceful existence between all communities. But if tribes are already divided, and also these people come up
like tribes are divided.
Yes, they are divided.
They are.
Why do you come to that conclusion?
What do we come to that conclusion? No, you don't even have to come to a conclusion. As human beings, we usually associate more to people who are like us. So, for example, if we speak the same language, we are most likely going to get along better than someone who doesn't speak our language. And that it's like a natural aspect of humanity. You get it? Yes.
So, but our national language is English.
Is English? Yes, it's English, but that's not our mother tongue.
But we really, minus the politics of it all and the people that come around to throw around those words like tribalism, right? I feel like we are a society that is as welcoming to each other.
Because if we were, then people wouldn't be complaining about tribalism and nepotism.
No, but the fact is,
maybe the media.
No. In fact,
so would you have a problem if I remember some of the first yesterday was on the UNOC board, and from who is now the co-operation with Samantha and.
Don't you say that's a big problem? How can you have people from a specific?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? If Muhezi, who was a minister by the who served the country, has invested enough money to educate the daughter.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Because again, once you become minister, you have enough money to educate your daughter from wherever they want, in whatever. So they get the necessary skills and qualifications for a position like a chief operations officer in UNOC. Why would you have a problem with that? If at the core of it all, they're Ugandan and this is a Ugandan
I would
company.
not have a problem with it if also other people had the same opportunity.
How do you know they didn't have the same opportunity?
No, they don't have the same opportunity because like most Ugandans are not able to send their kids to go abroad and study.
No. Okay.
Oh, like, study.
The funny thing is, like, apart from, like, when you mentioned about the scholarship programs, but still the people who qualify to go for scholarship programs have to be connected within a specific criteria. Like, you have to be connected to someone high. Because I've tried to apply for those scholarships.
And failed.
Don't you think it's an issue when you see, like, a big institution like that is employing people specifically from a certain part of a region? What does it tell you?
No, because that is what the media has filtered out, right? We have not looked at their whole employment because me have
I'm going to tell you a scenario. I'm going to tell you a story. A certain person I'm close to in 2023, the beginning of that year, got arrested. He got arrested because they were behind a presidential convoy and they were just driving. They were not even minding about that. I think they just had on headsets and the music was so loud, so they couldn't even hear the sirens that were coming. coming in.
Yo, they saw,
So-
they saw them, they just to ignore them.
Maybe they ignored
Because of ego.
I don't know. But that's besides the point.
Mhm.
This person was arrested and was taken to. There's a police in
Bobo
Mondege,
Road.
Bobo Road, Mondege, yeah.
Yeah,
Was
one to
arrested.
get police.
I remember I was one of people who were, like sureties that really wanted to get this person free. So I got to the police station. So we're talking. We had been there like for the second day. So the girl was like, "But you, don't you speak the language?" I'm like, "Which language?" I was like, "You know, the language." I was like, "No, you're only speaking Uganda. No one is going to understand you. Just try to speak
The language.
the language they understand. The language that they understand. This person will be out because
But that could have been money.
no, they were telling me to speak Nyangwe. And the guy was very specific. He told me if you don't speak that language, no one is going to be. In fact, we had to bring in someone who spoke the language and who knew those people.
I don't want to diminish
Yes.
your experience, right?
And the
but
fact
I
is,
don't
every
feel like
person in that police department, I was there. Every person, one single one of the police officers, both male and female, all of them that I got to interact with had high positions or like some influence, were from a specific region.
So you feel like that's eating us up.
It's bias.
Yes.
Yes.
But you look at when you look at other countries that have like made progress and they're not like very smart, they're extremely lazy.
Like which
But-
country is that?
UAE.
Okay.
Well, I know Arabs are not like they're smart, but they're extremely lazy. But what I know about those guys, there is equal distribution of resources in their country. Like everyone is going to benefit from the resources that come from their country. It's not like here. Everyone is not benefiting from the resources. Like for example, if I also became MP, now I would also be focused. Okay, I'm just giving an example. If I became an MP, suddenly I'll also look at around my community. I'm like, oh my, so much needs to be done on my community. And if I don't help people in my community, no one else is going to help them. So I'm going to focus on the people in my community. Because the other day, I came across a tweet and someone was saying, voters are so stupid because why would you go and vote for someone who is incapable of like serving you as you deserve because they don't come from your tribe? But then I was like, that means that voters are stupid because they also vote for people who can't do anything for them. But then I said, I don't think voters are stupid. I think also voters are very strategic because they want to vote someone who comes from their tribe because they know that person who comes from their tribe will look out for their interests and will care more for them. You get it? Yes.
It's just like you explained it. If isn't it a question of them looking out more for themselves? And by the way, people like to politicize it, but when you look at when you look at stories from back then, right? So I'll give you guys a story. I happen to have to share so many relatives from the West,
Okay.
and not like relatives, friends, because I'm purely Uganda. My parents are Uganda. But so I don't believe in the narrative that media is trying to sell that there's rampant tribalism in the country, and this is why I'll tell you why. It's just a case of people looking out for themselves when they get the chance to.
Okay.
If we're replicating the same thing, we'll probably be on the same line. So Bakonjo back then, right? This is what used to happen. They're laborers. Bachiga, Bakonjo, those people are known to be laborers for people. So because again, Baganda have had amassed wealth in the central region from time immemorial, they've always called other people to come and labor onto their properties. So they were doing this in this way. So this is what the Bachiga, the Bakonjo, I want to get, and people from the West were doing, those who had offered to labor for the people in the central region. So that maybe, because this side maybe had good soil or something like that, good access to, the central has always been like the capital of things. So there would be good access to better everything, right?
Okay.
So what happens is when the Bachiga or the Bakonjo would come and work for Muganda, they would then pull a relative, right? So instead of payment, they would ask that, you know what, I am going to dig for you this much amount of land if you give me this little amount of land as my payment for me to settle here. So what that will then happen is the guy would go get a fellow Mukonjo or a fellow Michiga and then make them settle there. and look for elsewhere, right? So they would expand like that. For them, it has always been their mode and system of expansion, which is not any different now, which people want to term as tribalism. Yeah, it's majorly just a thing of ignorance, of them not understanding how other people are working. But you just said it, that even if it were you with power, you would put the interests of your own people at heart.
Yeah.
Right. So we're only fighting with media trying to sell to you the act of tribalism between just people who are working hard and pulling each other.
And you make a good, and also like you make a good point. But also, like I said earlier, that people who identify each other when they have like so much so much in common, like the same tribe, they will get along more than with people they don't speak the same language.
Yeah.
You get
So maybe what you want to propose there is a federal type of government.
definitely. I think that would be like awesome.
So it's not really a tribalism issue.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think when you put it like that, yes.
Yeah.
It's not a tribalism thing. Yeah. So that's why.
So that brings me to the analysis that correct? Samantha being appointed, say, chief, because she's Muhwezi's daughter, is exactly why she has to be appointed the chief operation, because she has had enough education.
No,
Because the father
yes.
was a minister who had enough money to educate the child. And in that case, because the position requires that type of qualification, it makes her the best candidate. for the
Doesn't make her
position.
the best candidate.
No,
the
okay,
most
no. When
candidate.
you put it like that, you make a good point. It makes her the best candidate, and also the reason why
Yeah.
she was able to, like the reasons you've given, like she has got the
Yes,
best.
her CVs, total energies, what?
Yes,
like,
yes, I understand, but then that's also why the issue is. You
But-
get it?
But
Because
other
the other
some
people.
credentials who are very well
We
merited.
don't know that.
Yes, who could fit the role.
You see, again, this is why I bring in the media. The media likes to sell that analogy, but sometimes it's not the real. And once people get mixed in such, the only times I've been,
Okay, let me give you a scenario. Like,
Mm.
let me say she's not
yeah,
related to.
then should not first of all be even shortlisted.
Yes, and that's where our point comes in. It's like,
Yes, and that's why.
it's very just to favor a specific.
Life in its whole entirety is not a fair world.
No,
To
it's
think
not.
that is a fair world,
It's not a fair
Well,
world, but it's true.
But then there should
And
be
I-
like limitations.
because our fingers are not.
No, there should not be like limitations. All I can say is, well, the way like the governance is designed right now is not designed to
You two are
benefit.
twins, actually. Listen to this. You two are twins. Do you feel like you have the same IQ?
No,
No.
we don't have the same IQ.
But you, okay, no, even twins don't come out at the same time. One comes out first, then the other comes. So there's no way in the world where there's some sense of equality.
Mark, we should not make an excuse.
You can't make
We
an
should not make an excuse because they are the ones who have they are the ones who have the capacity to bring about change whereby the resources benefit everyone. You get. So if they are in positions of power and they're using that position to enrich themselves and the people of their tribe only, that's not right.
Yeah.
You get.
Much as-
Much as the fact that because they're from the same tribe and they have to get along.
Let's
Yeah,
look at
it's the
position.
way.
Let's look at the Uganda Parliament exhibition.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's the good honorable from Bukedia is Amuteso.
Yes.
Yes. So when you look at all the filings
Yes.
of the current corruption scandals,
Yes.
they have about 2% of people from the West. It is about 98% of people from Teso who are being given money. Chris Obore,
Yes, exactly. So doesn't that show you something? Doesn't that show you something?
that
People who are from a certain tribe are going to get along
So-
more than the others, and that's why I think it's unfair.
so there's no blame to the fact that Muhwezi's daughter and everyone they shortlisted is from that.
The blame is they are
Because
using
if you
national
got-
resources
Nakato,
to
if you got the
benefit
resources right now.
themselves. That's why that's the blame.
Listen to my argument.
Yes.
If you had the resources right now,
Yes.
who is your first pool of choice? Babirye.
If I didn't have like
Yeah, you'll give Babirye a job even if she's not qualified.
if I no no if I don't
Yes
have
or no? Okay, let's first go there. Would you give Babirye a job? Say you became president.
Okay, the
no,
first
if I became the president, I have the ultimate power.
You have
I
the
would not
ultimate-
give Yvonne a job if she didn't qualify. No, I'm being honest. I would not give her a job if she didn't qualify. If I had the ultimate power, but if I don't have the ultimate power in that, I can only use the small resources that I have access to make a difference. I'll first focus on the people in my community because then the resources are limited to me. So that means I have to use
So
them
Babirye,
wisely.
who has no qualification in this case, would get a job then because again she has no qualifications, she will misuse some bit of funding. Again, anyone who has no qualifications is going to get excited. Because again, they're not really trained. But you see that is a natural occurrence of life.
No. I think that you're misinterpreting me. If I say I'm going to focus on people in my community, it doesn't mean that I'm going to hire people who are not experienced, they're competent to do things for my community. I'll hire competent people because that's the whole point. If you're going to make a difference, use competent people. Yeah, but because that's what is within my power. But if I was like the president, then I will focus on that better good for everyone, not just people from my tribe, because I'm not leading people only from my tribe. But for example, if I'm an MP from my area, of course I'm going to focus because that's exactly my role.
Our dear leader is trying to do exactly that. And this is almost like a system fail. This is what democracy promises people. No.
Okay, dear.
The president is doing that. Look at the speaker. Look at the vice president.
No, the president is not doing that because the president has the power to bring about better good for everyone.
Then that's what his region is not. The community, the core understanding is, again, the president doesn't pick people from America. The president is playing
the power game. Do you know what the power game is?
Please,
it's giving people in power that are able to still maintaining in that.
No one in power does not have a CV that qualifies them to be there. Not Anita. Don't.
It's just qualifying, but those are poor.
Okay, so let me ask you this. If he was not playing any games and he did not intend to be in the position for the rest of his life, why did he change the constitution?
So because he picks from a pool of people who supported that. Right? So we're not going to say that the people...
Yes, he's manipulating. He's manipulating.
I have happened to have conversations with the great Miriam Matembe twice, recorded. These are recorded conversations. The problem is the people that pay for them don't want to release them. And
okay.
Yeah, today I'm giving them out. But I have had on the Idea podcast, again, on this other new podcast, I've happened to have... Now, Miriam Matembe, when she was still MP and minister, was responsible for the people that passed the removal of term limits, right? So she says that is one of her biggest regrets as to why they removed it. But they had a good cause. It was just not about the president. So what they again did was to give the office of the president so much power, right? Okay. But these were representatives.
And you believe that? That they had a good intentions?
Her intentions were stated out. It is
what were the intentions?
Yeah. I'm trying to really bring out the whole conversation. So for giving the office of the president so much power, they did not realize how that would bring about the implications that it has brought, right? They thought, because again, the institutions like parliament were growing so much, they needed to give so much power to the executive arm and take that away from the parliament because then individuals were not trusted then. But this is the issue, again, we have from our very same society. Yeah, and it's the gameplay the president uses.
So they decided that they wanted to give the president more power after he had been in power for over 30 years. For over 30 years already. So they decided they wanted to give him more power.
We're running a party system, a multi-party kind of government, right? Where very many people in different parties come together. So what that brings about is people want to win even after the president, right? So the NRM's agenda is to make sure they are powerful. The NUPA's agenda is to make sure they are powerful in the parliament. FDC's agenda is to make sure they are as powerful in parliament, to do whatever they can to have in as more numbers. And how they do that is everyone's strategy, winning strategy. So the NRM has for years successfully done that. They have made sure they have more members of they've made sure they have more members of parliament so that whenever they have to pass a bill, rightfully so, it is as just and it is within the law, right? So they have done that, and this is what happened. So the NRM's quest to really keep winning, passing age limit in that time, term limits in that time was the thing the party did. Yeah. Over time, we've realized that was really bad for the country, but again, it doesn't even solve our problem because even if we remove the head, the president, but when we still have the same party principles, we're most likely going to get the same results because it will be the same party.
So the most likely thing would be to dissolve the parliament completely, right?
So that could be a thing. I am an advocate of burning down the parliament any chance we get.
And also what they did when they passed that
the age limit.
Yeah, age limit bill.
I think that's
totally unrelated, but it will just take us back.
No, please say.
think of tribalism?
Yeah, please say, because my argument is again there that what the media wants to sell us as tribalism is not entirely true.
Okay, so if that is not entirely
But then
true,
what does it
what
take
is your what are your
What does
thoughts?
it take to
Even
find out
I'm
about
going
it?
to ask a
Sorry,
question.
so
What
pardon
are
me.
your thoughts?
Activism is stopping to tweet and going to
No,
act.
no,
That is what it takes.
no. So let me ask you. So, and exactly that's what I was
Yeah,
also
exactly,
like
that's what I was
trying
Yeah,
to
but we're
say.
not strong enough to do that because you see,
Fans of the one
No,
million US
we are
dollars.
not strong enough. We're not strong enough.
the funds no.
Because of the reasons I gave. Yeah, we're not strong enough to take like practical action.
So I was watching Dune 2 yesterday, right? Now in Dune, the Messiah. So people are most likely we are indoctrinated like the Bible, right? They have sold us the forthcoming of a Messiah, so we have our hopes onto that, right? So that is almost how our position feels like right now. We feel like there's going to be a guy who's going to come. If it's not Bessia, if it's not Bobo, and there's going to be a Macaron who is going to rise above the ranks and get out of podcasting and then go and say very new sweet things that then people will believe. That's never going to happen. Really.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So, but what we need is people to understand that what we're going through is so bad.
Okay.
Yeah. That when you go and fight, even if you die, I am going to come and fight right after you and not stop until the greater good achieves the better.
Now that's
not yet.
now that's the kind of energy that I'm
But we don't have
all
that
for.
energy.
Yes.
We over time.
Sometimes I feel like we don't have the energy because the people who have the influence don't want that kind of energy.
No, but
because the
like
status
once people like
the
people
status
use that
quo
energy, people
benefits
like you
them.
can oppose them and say what they're doing
no,
is
I
not
don't
enough. They should.
oppose
You
Bobo.
just said his money. He
No,
should
I've
use his money.
never opposed Bobo, and that it was not in reference to
To
Bobo.
the opposition. Then is any opposition.
Some opposition, some activists who are getting money and hyping people up for no good reason.
No, but does that answer your whole thing on
Yes,
the fact that there's really
No.
zero to not tribalism?
Yeah, but then that brings me to my next question. What are your thoughts of the military taking orders from just one person?
Because if I to come into power, like it will really, really be such a delusional thing for me to think that.
But
a
don't
man
you
who
think?
fights in power would be divided from his military?
Yeah, but don't you think that's an issue?
Of the system. Again, now
Yeah.
what we need is the NUP to make sure they foster as many people on ground roots, and this can start right, like how they have done it. The Sejirinya started by being LC chairmans and whatnot, and then they have risen the ranks to when they get into parliament. So we just need so many of those leaders from the grassroots to overpower, so that people know that this guy was commendable when they were chairman. So instead of voting an NRM guy as an MP, because there's some bit of control on at least an MP vote. Right?
For the military part, how do you influence?
Yeah, once you have more numbers, then you can change. Once the constitution changes, the country, you see, is still a democratic country in all its entirety.
Yes,
Democracy still prevails here.
Yes.
It is just, it can be manipulated. There can be a bigger player with more money.
No, they just don't follow the constitution.
They do.
No, they don't follow it. Okay, let me tell you why
They just change it.
If-
And rightfully so,
if-
because the constitution allows it's like the Bible. You see, God in the Bible says that you can question me over and over again.
No, I don't
So-
think the constitution is followed, because if it was followed, we would be protesting and no one would get arrested, no one would get brutalized. But we can't do that.
That's the thing. People protest. They just don't stay on the roads long enough. Like Martin Luther King. They go away.
Why they don't stay on the roads long enough?
That is a problem with the country.
Yes,
So some people will be bribed out. That's the thing. But if we had dedicated people who are willing to know that the greater good is we are tired of this government because it's giving us bad governance. They go, they shoot them bullets, they die. Then we have other guys come. So that is the hard part. People don't want to do the hard part.
And you know why people don't want to do the hard part?
Because there's an easier route,
No,
right?
because they're happy with what is currently going on.
Because the government has made sure they're not happy, but the government has given them an easier route. No one wants to die. They feel like maybe no one wants what's better for.
When I say happy, there's some people who are really genuinely happy because they don't know any better. They feel just like
Yeah, and there are people who are
They say
genuinely
liberal,
happy because the first
they say
steps.
liberal, that people don't know freedom, because if they knew it, they would fight a little bit harder to get it. Because some people, for them, this kind of thing works for them, is freedom to them.
That's so true. That's true, and that
Yes.
is where
And also other people are a place of comfort. Like if you have like you can job that pays you like some money, you go to live in a nice house. No, that's like you go to live. You
can go and party every weekend, drink yourself silly.
But surprisingly, that's really the the smallest number.
I told you had a friend when we were going to when we were going into elections. Remember, she told us, was like, also you guys, I know you're into opposition, just give Museveni a chance. She has given us freedom. That guy was actually trying to talk us into it.
And the person was like, I don't know why you're so much into those things. Because are they bringing bread on your table?
Yes.
No.
Because for me, as a night, like, very decent, like, it's all that. He has his family, like, he's like in his comfort zone, like. Yes, I think we got to a point. What you talk about, we get to that point when most people have nothing left to lose.
Yes, if we get to that point, then we shall see change, I guess.
But don't you feel like it's impossible because when you look at, say,
it's impossible actually. It's impossible
because people really find prosperity here, right?
Really.
Some of the things the NRM promises are not far-fetched.
Okay.
Right? There's a big majority of people who, like you said, there are those who do not know any better. Then there are those who look back at the past and feel like this is the better they deserve.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, because again, the government also understands that they shadow ban things like empowering people, civil education, and making sure people are knowledgeable enough to know what could be the actual better for them. So, keeping them at that radar is very, very important for the system.
Into that past, because I remember when I was walking in the back, there was an elderly lady.
And
she was like, she told us, she was like, I don't know why you guys are into opposition. Do you know why it was like in a minute era? We could not even walk, we not even do this. So you guys better just vote for Museveni and let it, because they feel like
and also
giving them some sort of freedom.
Have you imagined the Uganda after Museveni? Because natural factors will of course come into play. But what's your perspective?
Also, that uncertainty sometimes scares me, because I'm like, who's the next person? Is it going to be
okay? For me, this is what I think. If people don't want to like really make a sacrifice and make a strong son, then they should also like rethink and come up with a new way to do something that gives them what they want without any bloodshed or without any destruction.
Is that realistic? Or
it's not realistic, but it's simple.
We've seen it happen in other economies. We've seen like at some point, like change is inevitable.
Honestly, it's back again.
Like
the better way.
Because like the more force you apply,
people in parliament from the opposing side, so that they can change back the constitution. Because right now people can table the term limit, right? But it won't be successful because
and then changing policies.
Yeah, because for me, I say that like the more force like you try to apply, even the other party applies more force. You get it?
But
so if you're applying more force, yes, you don't have like the capacity to fight back and give the other party a befitting reply. Then I think you have to change your strategy.
So as entrepreneurs, that of you, please first finish.
Okay, so you have to employ another strategy that, of course, helps you get your goal, but in a more like, let's say, diplomatic way.
As entrepreneurs, do you think you would genuinely prosper more in, say, a developed economy like America as compared to Uganda?
Yes.
Why? Why do you say so? And how is the current political environment affecting your businesses? I want to listen from you, and so that any other people watching you can also really.
Same when we applied for some funds from Ministry of ICT, and we actually got shortlisted. But then for some reason, towards the pitching phase, we're just.
Personally, I think because of the financial climate and how like money has no value, the spending power is also not very high. So when you start a business,
but then also when opportunities are, like you said, when opportunities come up, like resources are not even distributed. Like if you're an entrepreneur and you own a business, and you're going for a fund from Ministry of ICT, of course they're going to value someone who has more connections to that really.
Okay, but I feel like that's a rumor, but yes.
No, besides the funding, when I look at the financial climate, when people don't have a lot of spending power, most likely even when you start a business, your business might not thrive.
It might not thrive because the people don't have like.
Because people will not have the money to buy something that they want. Yes. For example, chocolate is nice and people like it. But might prioritize buying something that's more essential to them than buying chocolate. Because like chocolate is like just like something that someone can live without, really, honestly.
True.
So you find yourself like the demand.
So like the demand is not like matching the supply. Yes. So that's like one of the challenges we have here.
So what are you planning to do about that challenge specifically in the current political and economic environment?
We're going to strategize on partner.
Even regardless
You
of
don't have to have the correct answer.
we regardless of the climate. Okay, first of all, we have to do what they call price discrimination. Okay, I don't know price. No, I don't know. It's not price discrimination, but it's like just targeting the market that can afford to buy your product. So if I know that most of the people who would want to be our customers might not be in position like to support us like we want them to. So we need to target those businesses and also those people who can be able to afford to buy from us.
B2B model, like if we partner with
like hotels, like international schools, and like we can have a partnership with them where they order from us. That would be a good thing. And also the other, of course, we also have to look for funding. Because we like if you don't have enough finances, of course you need to get funding. Yeah. Because funding enables you to scale, and when you scale, you're able to produce on a large scale at lower costs, and also your product, the pricing goes low.
Yeah.
And then you can sell more.
So have you done some market analysis on whether really there's enough chocolate consumed in the country?
Yes, we do have. In fact, it's not like the market margin for us is really good because we don't have a lot of competitors in Uganda. Yes, when I look about like local chocolate manufacturers, those are really few.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really
most of our competitors will be like
international brands.
Brands.
Okay.
But if we're producing locally, I think even we have more control over the product.
All right.
And the quality. Yes.
And if we price or if we have like strategic pricing, we can be able to beat the international manufacturers because their pricing is really sometimes it's higher than ours. And our quality is almost more or less the same. Our quality is really good.
Interesting.
Yes.
And also our packaging is good, and we plan to locally source the packaging and branding from locally.
What do you think about Twitter
as a platform?
In an age where there's so much information to consume, and where maybe the media is always have like an agenda to sell to you, because I've seen people these days have an issue with maybe how Next Media is broadcasting. So there's that, but then we have independent platforms like, of course, this podcast where people come and air out their views. You just referenced Tony's appearance here. Also, yeah, but what do you think about the platform now? Also, you guys are using it for activism.
Yes.
What are your opinions on since Elon Musk?
I think Twitter is a very useful platform.
You think?
Yeah, for communication.
It's a very good space.
But if when it comes like to bring about change, it's not like very good. It's not practical to understand that. If you trying to bring about change in Uganda and you want to do it on Twitter, then you're wasting your time. Usually, I know someone who calls them like
Twitter finger, girl.
keyboard addictive something.
Keyboard ninjas, clearly. I agree with that person.
Yeah.
No, you get anger and then you start reaching out. But I think that was.
I think it can be good, like to use it like to promote your business.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be used like good to promote your business and to like exchange exchange ideas. Yeah. But if you want to bring about change like politically, then it's on the right platform.
It's a certain percentage.
Of course, it's not like 100%. Like it's not the right platform. And
but do you feel like it's giving you opportunity to express yourself freely?
Yes, it does. Yes. It does give the opportunity because most of the information you put out there, most people see it. In real life, you'll not be able to do that. Because most of the people who are going to come across you on Twitter, in real life, you'll not come across them. In Twitter, they will not meet you because you totally move in different circles. Yes, and also it's very helpful because like you can use it to counter like bad information or propaganda. Because I see people, the negative about Twitter is like it's very dangerous because people use it to push negative and bad propaganda. Yes, to like propaganda that's not correct, that's not accurate.
Yeah, because negative bias will get them.
Yes.
Retreats and like
not just retreats. Some people like they're paid actually.
Yeah,
they're paid, which is not good. But also the good thing about it, like also you as a user, you also have the opportunity to counter that.
Yes,
and give like your thing. You might not be a good public speaker, but when you're on your keyboard, you have like enough time to analyze things and respond accordingly and like think through things. Right? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So as we conclude, Babirye, what sort of legacy are you trying to leave behind?
So legacy, I'm trying to leave behind.
If the director yelled cut tomorrow.
If the what?
If your life director, say God in this case, if you're a believer, if they ended your life, what would you be most proud of?
Most proud of honesty for me. I want my children to remember me as a mom that was present, available, who loved them and nurtured them into good women. Because they're all girls, nurtured them into good women. Like I want to leave them the priceless gifts of like being honest, caring, loving. Those are things that people tend to look down on. So that's the kind of legacy I really, really want.
Are you teaching your children the culture you are raised in?
The Uganda culture.
Mhm.
To a certain degree, yeah, but because we are in an evolving world and in global scale, and I intend for them to like and I intend for them to like be an international level as opposed to like be in Uganda. Yes, to a certain degree, they know about the culture, where they come from, but then also it's all around
To be able to thrive on an international stage,
Yes.
it's just like local stage.
Yeah.
I think that's what she's trying to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah, but for as a legacy, honestly, I just want to be remembered as a good person. Like to my spouse, if I get married, I want them to remember me as a person who was really loving and give them the best memories of their lives.
Yeah.
And as a mom, I want them, my children, to remember. As an entrepreneur, I want to leave an empire where they will remember and they'll be like, yeah, this was like she built a chocolate empire. Or yeah.
I've always wanted to ask twins,
Yeah.
if all factors were constant, would you marry the same man?
No.
No. No.
I always felt like you've lived the same lives. Would you marry twins though?
I would marry a twin personally.
Yeah, but I don't think so because we have different
Yeah.
men when it comes to
Yeah, but
if she-
like
she
I
said it,
say,
I don't think I would do
because
it.
like I say, that through our experiences, we might have been born on the same time, we look alike. But
But
in
yeah.
our experiences, we've not like been together all our lives, like 24/7. That we had parts of our lives where everyone was doing their own thing. I was
Yeah.
working at a different place, and she was working at a different place. I lived in a different country, and she was like living in a different country. So those years apart shape also our experiences and who
Personalities,
we
yes.
are as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Who are you? Nakato?
Me, Cynthia.
Yeah.
Or maybe I would say, who am I not?
Mhm.
Okay, who am I? I can't like just sum myself up in just like a few
Have you like found your purpose in life?
like I said, I'm still like honing my skills and trying to become a better version of myself. Yes. And the purpose of my life, I would like to believe that I've become like more self-aware and know exactly what I want from life.
Mhm.
Yes. And that is true, actually. And even like before, okay, at this age, but even before I was really young, I think you get to know who you are even at a young stage. It's just that you might not be like self-aware enough or to realize who you are. But from a young age, all I know is I did want to make a difference in people's lives. And even if it's not a lot of people, even if it's just one person, I always want to have like an impact on someone's life. I want to touch someone's life and change their life for the good. And they look back and they look back and remember me and they say, if it wasn't for Cynthia, my life would not have been this, and this. Yeah. If I have the capacity.
So what legacy are you trying to leave behind?
Legacy.
Are you Catholic?
This is like for sentimental value.
Are you Catholic?
Yes, I'm Catholic.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also Catholic, so
Yes.
it had nothing to do.
Yeah, but okay, so what legacy I would like to leave behind when people look back and remember Cynthia, what they would remember me for.
Mhm.
Actually, that's really a deep question.
Yeah, and if you do not have an answer to it, you can use this time to think about it.
Yes.
You guys can ask questions, then we conclude.
Yeah, I wanted to ask
Did you
like,
talk about our entrepreneurial journey? Or both journey?
Yeah, I think I talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to ask like how long have you guys been running this podcast?
For about 3 years.
3 years.
Mm.
Like you have found out like you have partners that you're partnering with.
Yeah.
Like is it self-funded or
It's self-funded.
did you guys make money?
No.
Yeah, so it's purely out of like passion.
Yeah.
It's like up to and like you hope
The podcast advertises the studio for now. So yeah, we do this for other people. So we podcast for other people. So once they see us consistently doing it, they hire us to give them the same services. But also the fact that we have cameras, lights, and microphones, whoever wants visual and audio. So the podcast is produced by Uvotam. Uvotam is a production house which then does specializes in visual and audio. This is where we're speaking and also recording. So then the same people who want that come to us and we replicate that for them. So in that way we can make money. Yeah. But it's a really expensive business, so we are scaling it out slowly by slowly.
Because I see you have some good equipment.
And this is just like 1%. We also it's a production house. We do music videos, we do film. So we have much more bigger than this. This is just for the podcast. Yeah.
Because I was wondering. Yeah, makes sense.
So for legacy, okay, I don't think I've achieved
Yeah.
my legacy yet,
Yeah.
but I would like to achieve it before I die. And that would be like, I would like to build something. Because we're talking about empowerment today. And I would really like to build,
Empowerment and how you failed business because you failed to
Yeah.
innovate.
yes,
Because your health business is almost someone else is running the same model here successful.
yes.
So it means that you failed because you failed to innovate.
Yes, yeah, because we learned our lessons. Like some things are best left to professionals, like brain surgery and apparently healthcare apps as well. Yes, yeah. But the legacy I would like to leave behind. Yes, I know. I would like to leave behind something that like will impact people even way after I'm gone. In empowering them to become, like to acquire skills that can benefit them. And I know you say that crocheting is not like a big deal and it can do much to
Not
people.
like life changing.
like not life changing, but at least
It's a business that can be successful.
it can inspire people to create. So if someone can create something small for themselves, if I can leave behind a legacy where but people are able to start creating things for themselves, however small they are, then I'll be happy.
Okay.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for doing the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Yeah.